name's Ryan Cam, and welcome back to the 1999 Project. This is going to be a short edition this week. I only have one movie to cover, but the movie was actually way better than I could have ever anticipated. It's called Double Jeopardy.
I learned a few things in prison. I could shoot you in the middle of Mardi Gras and they can't touch me.
Double Jeopardy.
Where's my son?
Double Jeopardy was directed by Bruce Beresford, and it starred Ashley Judd, Tommy Lee Jones, and Bruce Greenwood. It tells the story of a woman played by Judd who has a seemingly perfect existence. She has a son who she loves, a husband who she loves. What could possibly go wrong? Well, when they're out on their boat one evening, she wakes up to find that she's got blood all over her, and he is completely gone, like he's just disappeared. He has been supposedly murdered, and she is the prime suspect. She is sentenced to several years in prison, even though she swears up and down she did not commit the crime. 6 years later, she makes her parole and learns that the husband faked his own death, and so to find him and her son, she ends up breaking her parole and going to find them, only for her parole officer, played by Tommy Lee Jones, to try and find her and bring her to justice. If you have listened to that plot, I'm sure you all are thinking the same thing that I was thinking. This just sounds like The Fugitive. And you would be right. There are a lot of similarities to The Fugitive. It doesn't really help things either that the guy that's trying to find the main character and bring the main character to justice is Tommy Lee Jones, the same man who played the guy bringing the main character to justice in The Fugitive. I was half expecting there to be a callback to the "you find this man" line in The Fugitive, or
warehouse, farmhouse, hen house, outhouse, or doghouse in that area.
However, the movie was very enjoyable. It really comes down to the performances and the action, because there are some very good action sequences here, but the performances are particularly strong. From Ashley Judd specifically, she is really good in the movie, and I didn't expect much from her. It turned out she absolutely crushed it. About 15-20 minutes in, she realizes that her husband is still very much alive, and so just says to herself, okay, I'm going to buckle down. I'm going to bide my time. And then when I get out of here, it's no mercy. She learns about the double jeopardy rule, which basically means they can't charge her for the same crime twice. And so she starts training, she starts building up her knowledge, and so when she actually does escape, she is not the same woman that she was when she went in. She is something different. There's a bit of a mini training montage in there in which she is lifting weights, running in the rain, and while it is very cliche, I got into it, I'm not gonna lie. There's also a great scene where she finds out that her husband is living in New Orleans under an assumed name and is trying to find him there. However, Tommy Lee Jones's character finds her in New Orleans and has to lose him and the cops. And so there's a great chase in the middle of Bourbon Street, and Bourbon Street is notoriously very crowded. And so it's just a battle of it's literally cat and mouse stuff. Tommy Lee Jones is predictably entertaining here. His character has baggage that I just felt like just went nowhere. They give him attributes like he's a former law professor. Something happened to him to where he was fired and now he's here. It's never fully explained, and it's implied that he may have done something bad involving alcohol, but it's never really followed through on. And at the same time, like when this was happening, I was like, why is this important? Like, why can't he just be a guy who up to that point was like, the system works, and then slowly, quickly realizes maybe the system got one wrong? Bruce Greenwood, for somebody who honestly looks like a pretty normal looking guy, like he could play like a John Schneider type of father character, is a surprisingly effective villain in this, and I was not expecting that either. He has some pretty low moments too, like when he finds Ashley Judd, like knocks her out, and then leaves her in a casket with a dead body inside in a mausoleum in a New Orleans cemetery.
Boy, is he strict.
It's just sinister enough to be a threat, but he's also pretty pathetic. It's a delicate balance, and I think that Greenwood pulled it off. In terms of the subject matter and how it all works out, you probably have seen a version of this movie before, not just The Fugitive, and I hate to bring up The Fugitive again, but I mean, Tommy Lee Jones is literally playing an officer of the law trying to find someone who is accused of a crime that they did not commit. You can't help but make the comparisons there. But in the case of Double Jeopardy, the actual effort put forth and the attempt to make it something worthwhile is very commendable. There's a scene in which a car is like Tommy Lee Jones's character's car is driven off of one of those ferry boat looking things, and it looks like a real car was driven off a real boat. And the sinking of the car was CGI, but the actual stunt leading up to that was pretty impressive. Kind of teeter-tottering between giving this a good or a great rating, but honestly, I'm going to give this a great rating. Cliche, yes. A fugitive derivative, yes. But it also is very effective when it is on. And the ending of the movie is actually, it hit me right here. I'm not going to lie. This is a very enjoyable movie. I'll just say one of the more underrated movies I've seen in this 99 project. But what did you all think of Double Jeopardy? Let me know in the comments. I would love to read what you have to say. We've got another busy week coming up. Russell from Notorious by Chance will be returning with me to review a little movie, only the movie that won the best picture at the Oscars that year, American Beauty. And I'll also be talking about the sports film Mystery Alaska and the David O. Russell joint Three Kings. That is all next week. But for this week, my name is Ryan Cam. I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.